Hi, I'm here with Nicole Ruda, and we're here to talk about drugs, the effects of them, and why you shouldn't do them.
Hi, I'm Nicole Ruda. I'm a junior and I play volleyball, basketball, and do track.
Today, we're here with the Chief of Police, Corey Williams, here to talk about what are the effects of drugs and why you shouldn't do them.
I'm Corey Williams, Chief of Police of Holcomb, and I'm here with Chris to talk about the drugs and effects on your body.
My name is Jesus Villagrán, and today I'm here with
Chloe Ramirez.
So, our first question is going to be have you been around anyone who uses drugs, and what have you seen it do to them?
Yeah, I've seen some people who have used drugs, and usually they're athletes, and it affects their performances poorly.
Our second question for you is why don't you do drugs?
I don't do drugs because sports are really important to me, and drugs affect your performance. And I would like to do sports after high school, and drugs will cut that short.
All right, the first question is how have you seen drugs impact a person? Could be like a relative or anyone that you know.
The effects of drugs they're widespread over the whole United States. I've seen several effects, not only on certain people's family, but all over. It affects the way they look, their mental state. It you know when you get hooked onto illegal narcotics, it takes over the effect of your body, and it can make you go into mental depression and start doing other illegal things while you're on narcotics, and can also lead to death.
The next question will be what's your experience with drugs and what have you seen?
I had the opportunity to be a part of a special operations group. We dealt with narcotics and gangs when I was a officer in Yuma, Arizona. So I got to work with a lot of drug activity coming across the border. I dealt with the Mexican cartel to being part of the team that found one of the tunnels that led from an old abandoned KFC underground under into Mexico, where they were bringing drugs across into the United States, and dealt with a lot of ultra flights where they would fly over the borderline and drop off bundles, sacks, bags of drugs, and then they'd have a runner that would come pick them up, and we used to be able to intercept some of those and stop a lot of the drug activity that was going on.
Now, what's the difference between dealing with that drug problem in Arizona compared to here in Kansas, where it's not as close to the border?
The difference between Arizona working with drugs, illegal narcotics close to the border versus Kansas is, down there you got bigger cities where, you see a lot more drug activity. Kansas is a more rural area, so the narcotics and stuff are here. It's just widely spread. It's harder to deal with versus being in a big city, and exactly where it's coming. As an officer, you have to work a little harder with more intel to be able to locate the big drug bust, the big drug dealers here in Kansas. It is here. A lot of the drugs come from Mexico, Arizona. They come from there to Kansas. We try to work to intercept that before it makes it here. So it is here. It's just, being rural Kansas, it's widely spread, and it's a little harder to deal with, but we're doing our best efforts to cut down on the drugs and what it can do to somebody, and get impaired drivers. People don't think, use drugs, and they get behind a wheel, and it definitely can cause some big problems.
drunk driving is a big problem. Almost 30 people die a day from drunk driving. That's one person every 50 minutes. However, the death rates have lowered in the last 3 decades, but still take the lives of more than 10,000 people a year. And we're going to be talking about why drugs are bad for you. So the first question is, what's your experience with drugs?
Personally, I don't have much experience, but I work with individuals that use drugs every day. So I noticed the effects it has on their judgment. For example, if you play sports and you use drugs or even alcohol, it affects your coordination, your movements. Some people say it makes them feel better and that they do a better job, and I just let them know that's a drug making them think that that's what's going on, but it's not. Also, it affects your learning, and you're not able to focus and concentrate. And they tell you that it helps them focus and concentrate better, but that's the drug making them think that. So there's a lot of false information regarding drugs and alcohol out there.
For our second question, it's how have you seen drugs affect someone's life?
For example, they can lose their children. A lot of parents who are not able to care because they're under the influence, they neglect their children, and DCF comes in and can take their children away. They end up in prison because of judgment calls, murder. I've had individuals who have been high on drugs and have murdered. So the effects are extremely bad.
All right, third question, it's why do only some people get addicted to drugs?
I believe it has to do a lot with the chemical, the biology, the imbalances in your brain, and if you want to continue to use, or if you have that thought of just maybe trying it once. A lot has to do also with your age, with people's age. So brain development is up until age 25, and what happens is that it can affect the way your early childhood development, and more likely if you use before the age 25, it will affect how smart or how intelligent you can be after the age of 25.
In 2018, 67,000 people died of drug overdose, and most of those are from young teenagers or people who got addicted to drugs at a young age.
Thank you for coming in today and telling us about why you don't do drugs and what they do to you.
No problem.
All right. Thank you for coming in and talk with us about this problem that we're having, and hopefully here soon it can start to decrease, and just see how it goes. Thank you again.
Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it. I hope I gave you some viable information, and that we can all work together to stop the increase in drugs, and especially within our youth. Thank you.
Thank you for coming in today and educating us about drugs and why they're bad.
You're welcome.
Now you know the effects of drugs and what they can do to your body, so we hope that you learn from this and not do drugs.